Flickers in the Dark Episode 37, Whispers in the Woods.
I'm a folklorist by training, but by circumstance, I found myself inheriting an old mansion in the heart of a sprawling forest. The local townsfolk called it the Maya House, due to its close proximity to a swamp. It was said to have been the dwelling of Lady Cassandra, a recluse from the 19th century, who was both admired for her beauty and whispered about for her rumored dealings with the supernatural. My first week at Maya House was fairly uneventful. The rustling of the forest leaves, the croak of frogs from the swamp, and the occasional distant hoot of an owl formed my nightly lullaby. Yet, there was an undercurrent of unease that seemed to permeate the very air around the mansion. One evening, as I was engrossed in deciphering some old manuscripts, a knock echoed through the hallway. Thinking it was a local or a lost traveler, I opened the door to find nobody there. But as I peered out, I noticed a trail of wet footprints leading from the swamp to my doorstep, then veering off toward the forest. Curiosity piqued, I decided to follow the tracks. They led me deep into the forest, to a clearing where an ancient tree stood, its limbs contorted as though frozen in agony. Beneath the tree was a circle of stones, and within the circle lay a book, worn by time. Picking it up, I could see that it was Lady Cassandra's personal journal. The entries began quite normally, detailing her daily life. But as the days turned into months, her words started to reflect a deep obsession with the supernatural, particularly with summoning spirits from the swamp. She mentioned whispered deals, promises of eternal beauty, and the need for occasional offerings. Toward the end of the journal, there was an entry detailing a ritual she intended to perform, one that would grant her unparalleled power in exchange for a sacrifice. The following pages were blank except for the last page, which contained a single chilling sentence: "They are hungry and the price was too high." I closed the journal, my heart racing. The woods seemed darker, the silence more oppressive. It felt as if 1,000 unseen eyes were watching me. Panic surged within, urging me to flee. But as I turned to leave, the swamp began to bubble and churn. From its murky depths, figures began to emerge, half human, half amphibian, with eyes that glowed an eerie green. They converged around the tree, forming a grotesque assembly, their voices a cacophony of whispers, recounting deals broken and prices unpaid. My feet were rooted in place, paralyzed by fear. The figures drew closer, their whispering growing louder until it was almost deafening. Just when I felt I could bear no more, a melodious voice broke through the chaos. It was Lady Cassandra, appearing as she did in her youthful prime, her beauty unparalleled. She spoke in a tongue unknown to me, her voice commanding the creatures to halt. With a graceful wave of her hand, she directed them back to the swamp, the waters swallowing them whole once more. Then she turned her gaze to me.
"You've read my tale," she began, her voice soft yet filled with an age-old weariness. "I paid the price for my desires, and now, I am forever bound to this place, the guardian between their world and ours."
Understanding dawned on me. "The footprints, the knock," I whispered. "It was you, guiding me here."
She nodded. "I needed someone to know, to remember. When I am gone, another must stand watch."
"But why me?" I asked.
"Because, dear one," she replied, her form starting to fade, "the Meyer house chose you."
When I returned to the mansion, the unease was gone. In its place was a profound sense of purpose. The whispers of the woods had shared their tale, and I was now its keeper.